In today's video, I will be talking about the UFC Champions Now versus then. So I'm actually go over champions from Flyweight all the way to Heavyweight. So for 2026, Joshua Van. This is a 2021 Brandon Moreno. Honestly, give me a 2026 Joshua Van. I mean, I think he would be. I think he'd have great boxing. I think he'd outbox Moreno really good. And I think the submission game could be. I think if he goes on the ground, then yes, Moreno could have his stuff and advantages. But I think Joshua Van proved against Tatsuro Taylor that he's a really good grappler, and he nearly submitted Tatsuro Taylor in the third round. He had really good defense. He had really good takedown defense, even though he got took down multiple times. So I think Brandon Moreno has weaknesses as well. I mean, we seen him even in that era 2021. He lost to Davison Figueiredo in the third fight. And yeah, I just think Joshua Van would make meat out of him basically. Yeah, I think Joshua Van could piece him up. Yeah, and maybe get a TKO finish, but I think Joshua Van would easily be Brandon Moreno. And then for 135. PTN 2026 versus Aljamain Sterling 2021. Now, of course, they fought twice, in both which were robberies. As the first fight should have been a no contest, and the second fight was, it was a close fight. But I'm picking PTN for this. I think those first two fights were a robbery. The second fight should have been a robbery. I think PTN won that fight, and even the first fight before the illegal knee, we seen PTN was dominating him for all the fight. And yeah, I just think PTN's really good. He's one of the best, if not the best boxer in UFC. And Aljamain Sterling has weaknesses, even if you say which you saw. And yeah, I just think PTN would actually make a mince out of him. Honestly, I think PTN would get revenge, I mean, Aljamain Sterling does have good grappling, and maybe he can implement that, as we've seen in the second fight. But yeah, PTN would just maul him, I think, honestly. I think he'd be good with 5 rounds. His cardio's good. I think PTN would just mufti him up, honestly. And Aljo is really good, but yeah, I think PTN would beat Aljamain Sterling. And then for lightweight, Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. Of course we've seen this fight, and I'm picking Oliveira to win against Gaethje. I just think, of course we've seen this fight in 2022, and yeah, Charles Oliveira got the submission win in the first round, and yeah, that fight was one of the greatest fights of all time. Charles Oliveira in the first, Gaethje dropped him in the first 2 minutes or something, and then Oliveira came back up, dropped Justin, and yeah, got the submission winner on his back. And I think Oliveira would win against Gaethje, especially 2021 Oliveira, prime Oliveira, who's on his streak. I think he'd just beat Poirier, he'd just beat Chandler. This when he was on his 11 fight win streak, when he was prime DuBlanc Charles Oliveira. I think he'd get rid of Gaethje soon, like we seen in that fight. And Gaethje's, he just lost against, he had losses against Max Holloway, of course Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, Eddie Alvarez, and I think Oliveira would submit him like he did. We've seen even in his fight against Elliot Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Elliot did drop him in the second round and then get that finish. And trust me, when Ilya went to the ground and started trying them submissions, he tried the inverted triangle. If I was Oliveira would submit him easily. I think he'd be easily do that. Yeah, I think this is really good, and I think Oliveira would submit him again. Honestly, I think he's very good, Oliveira. He's improved after his Islam Makhachev loss. He's improved his wrestling a lot, improved the striking. And I think he'd beat Justin Gaethje. And then for 170, Islam Makhachev 2026 versus Kamaru Usman 2021. You know, Kamaru Usman just came off at this time in 2021, July 2021. He just beat Usman, Masvidal, you know, with that viral knockout highlight clip of knocking him out with that jab, with that street. Yeah, honestly, for this fight, I'd pick Islam Makhachev. I mean, I think this fight's I think the wrestling will be too much. I think Islam Makhachev has really improved his striking, and I think Usman, even we seen in his fight against Colby Covington, and even Masvidal in the first fight. You know, Usman does have some problems with wrestling, and I think Islam Makhachev will take incredible advantage of that. I think Islam Makhachev's striking is incredible as well. You know, he knocked out Volkanovski, who was the featherweight goat. He knocked out, he finished, and even his ground game, he's finished Dustin Poirier and also Moicano, Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, who was on his 11-fight win streak. He had Arman Sarukian in the early days. I think Islam Makhachev would win against Kamaru Usman 2021, and yeah, I think it would be a close fight. I think Usman can maybe outland him in the striking, but I think his wrestling, Islam's wrestling and takedown would just be too much for Usman. So yeah, I'd pick Islam Makhachev. And then for 2026 Sean Strickland versus 2021 Israel Adesanya. Now, of course, we've seen this fight, but honestly, I'm gonna pick 2021 Adesanya. I mean, I think he just got off that big win in 2021 at this time. He got off that win over Vettori in that rematch. Yeah, I think Prime Adesanya, when he was on his run, you know, he of course got the belt off Whittaker, defends it a few times, and of course rematch Whittaker. And I know they fought Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya, and I know Israel Adesanya has lost to Sean Strickland, but that was a 2023 old Israel Adesanya. Trust me. I just think with the 2021 prime Adesanya, I think it'd be too much for Strickland. You know, even though I love Sean Strickland and I know that's my profile picture. I'm sorry I have to say this, but I'd pick 2021 Adesanya. You know, we've seen Strickland even in his fight against Chimaev. People were arguing that was a robbery, because honestly it was not a robbery. I thought Strickland won, but there was some problems even then. Like a year ago, Dricus du Plessis beat Strickland up in February in UFC 312. Even in their first fight, du Plessis beat Strickland, even though that was a robbery. And I think Adesanya at this time was too good. You know, he just come off that win over Vettori. You know, he beat Gastelum, he beat Whittaker. I think he'd be too much for Israel, for Sean Strickland. So yeah, I think Israel Adesanya in 2021 would be Sean Strickland. And then for 205, Carlos Ulberg 2026 versus 2021 Jan Blachowicz. I know we've seen this fight. I know Ulberg won, and I think it was a very close fight. But yeah, I'll pick Jan Blachowicz. I think at this time he beat Reyes and he defended against Adesanya. And I think this was his prime. I think it was really good. His wrestling was incredible, phenomenal. His striking was improved a lot. I think he was really good, and I think Carlos Ulberg has problems. Now even in that fight against Yuri, if Yuri had no mercy, Yuri was going to win that fight. Trust me. I know Ankalaev just got off that big win over Bogdan Guskov. Ankalaev's going to fuck Ulberg up. Trust me. Yeah, and I think Ulberg, I think he's really good striking, but I think the question will be in the grappling. As we know, now Blachowicz is a great wrestler, and even in their fight, it was kind of, people say it was a robbery, and I thought it was a robbery, just because Jan Blachowicz performed really good. Yeah, I think Jan Blachowicz 2021 prime would be Carlos Ulberg. So that was 205. Then for 265, one of the most hyped, it's like them dream matchups that never happened, that will never happen. Tom Aspinall versus Francis Ngannou. Honestly, I'm picking Francis Ngannou. I think he was too good at this time, you know. I think he came off that win over Stipe Miocic, who was the greatest heavyweight of all time. I think his wrestling, we've seen in the Gone fight that he has good wrestling, and he has really good takedown defense. I know Aspinall's really good at wrestling and grappling, you know, he has really good submissions, but I think Ngannou's power is insane. I think one of the greatest, and I think if Cyril Gane, we've seen in the fight with Tom Aspinall and Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall was getting pieced up by shots by Cyril Gane, and if Cyril Gane's doing that, then imagine what Ngannou's going to do. Ngannou's going to slam you out in two. Now look, I love Tom Aspinall. I think he's a really good fighter. I think in his Gane rematch he wins against Gane, weirdly enough. But yeah, I just think it'd be too much for Tom Aspinall. I think he gets chinned in like the third or fourth round of Francis Ngannou in 2021. Yeah, I think it'll be really good fight for Francis Ngannou. But fortunately it didn't happen because Ngannou left the UFC. Dana got mad, and yeah. So yeah, please like and subscribe. And in that, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.